Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time we're going to be looking at the Liberty gene.
Oh, yeah. This one's a good one.
Yeah, it's a really interesting blend of science fiction and that kind of tech thriller genre that seems to be really popular these days.
Yeah, it seems like we're all kind of grappling with,
Yeah.
the role of technology in our lives and where it's all headed.
Yeah, I think this book really taps into some of those anxieties
Really?
in a way that's both entertaining and thought-provoking.
For sure. For sure. And I gotta say, I just devoured this book. I think I finished it in like 2 sittings.
Oh, yeah, me too. I couldn't put it down.
So good.
So I guess we should probably start by giving folks a little overview of the story without giving too much away.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Right.
But basically, we're in this futuristic world where androids, they call them bots in the book,
Right.
are like totally integrated into society.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, doing all sorts of jobs from like domestic work to like high-level corporate stuff.
And it's interesting because the book really dives into that kind of societal divide
Absolutely.
that we're already starting to see, with technology.
Yeah, you've got the wealthy elite who are benefiting from all this advanced technology.
Right.
Living these super comfortable lives with all these bots at their beck and call.
And then you've got the, what do they call them? The zeros, I think?
The zeros, yeah.
Who are kind of left behind, struggling to survive in these decaying urban environments.
Exactly. It's like the technology has created this whole new underclass.
Right. And it's not just about the economic disparity either.
Yeah.
It's about access to information, to resources, to opportunities.
It really makes you think about the potential consequences of unchecked technological advancement.
Definitely. And then there's this whole question of sentience.
Oh, yeah.
Are these bots just machines? Or are they something more?
Right. Can they feel emotions?
Can they think for themselves?
Yeah.
Can they make their own choices?
Yeah, and the book doesn't give you any easy answers.
No, it really makes you grapple with those questions.
And it does it through this character, Robyn, who's a companion bot.
Oh, Robyn. Yeah, she's fascinating.
She is. She's assigned to this wealthy businessman named Richard.
Right.
And through her perspective, we start to see the world in a whole new light.
Yeah, and I got to say, the author does an amazing job of making you empathize with Robyn.
Oh, totally.
Even though she's a bot.
You really start to question, like, what does it mean to be sentient?
Right.
What does it mean to be conscious?
What does it mean to be a person?
Exactly. And then you've got this whole other layer to the story with this group called Lazarus.
Oh, yeah, Lazarus.
Who are fighting for bot liberation.
Right. They believe that bots deserve the same rights as humans.
And they're willing to use violence to achieve their goals.
Which really raises some interesting moral dilemmas.
Yeah. I mean, is violence ever justified?
Even the pursuit of freedom.
Exactly. And how far is too far?
Especially when you're dealing with artificial beings.
Right. Like, do they even have the same concept of freedom?
Do they want to be free?
All these questions start swirling around in your head.
And then there's that scene in the museum with Trudy.
Oh, yeah.
The rogue bot.
Right. She's part of Lazarus.
And she's trying to convince Robyn to join their cause.
It's a really tense encounter.
It is. You can really feel the tension.
Because Robyn's torn,
Yeah, she's caught between her loyalty to Richard.
Right.
And this growing awareness.
Yeah.
That maybe there's something more out there for her.
Maybe she's not just a machine.
Maybe she has a right to choose her own destiny.
Exactly. And that's where things start to get really interesting.
Oh, yeah, the story just takes off from there.
It's like a roller coaster ride.
You're constantly on the edge of your seat, wondering what's going to happen next.
And who's going to survive.
Yeah, and what the world's going to look like when the dust settles.
And I love how the author weaves in these little details that make you think.
Like that old Gandalf toy?
Oh, yeah, in Richard's secret storage locker.
What was that all about?
I know, right? It's like a symbol of something.
Yeah, but I'm not sure what.
I think it has something to do with nostalgia.
Maybe a longing for simpler times?
Before technology took over our lives.
Yeah, or maybe it's just a red herring.
Maybe.
Who knows? The author's really good at keeping you guessing.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's one of the things that makes this book so compelling.
Definitely. It's one of those books that stays with you long after you finish reading it.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about it.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I think it's a book that's going to spark a lot of conversations.
Oh, I hope so.
About the future of AI, about the ethics of technology, about what it means to be human.
And about the choices we're making today.
Exactly, because those choices are going to have a huge impact on the world we create tomorrow.
So if you're looking for a book that's both entertaining and thought-provoking, I highly recommend The Liberty Gene.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah, it'll keep you up all night.
And it'll make you think.
And that's what we love about good science fiction, right?
Absolutely.
It makes us question everything.
And it makes us imagine new possibilities.
Exactly.
Mm.
And that's what makes it so important.
Because we need those new possibilities now more than ever.
Yeah, the world's changing fast.
And we need to be ready for it.
We need to be thinking about the future we want to create.
And the choices we need to make to get there.
So let's dive into the Liberty gene and see what we can discover.
Let's do it.
And maybe even learn a little something about ourselves along the way.
Sounds good to me. So we were talking about the whole bot liberation movement and the ethics of it all.
Yeah, it's such a complex issue with so many layers.
Right. And the book really doesn't shy away from any of that.
No, it dives right into the heart of it.
And then there's this whole other element with the Charter of Robot Rights.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
It's like a mirror to our own struggles with civil rights, you know?
Right. Are bots entitled to the same rights as humans?
And if so, what does that even look like?
Yeah. How do you define those rights in a way that makes sense for both humans and bots?
It's a really tricky question.
And the book raises some really interesting points about it.
Like, what happens when those rights conflict with human interests?
Right. What if a bot commits a crime?
Or harms a human?
Does it deserve the same punishment as a human would?
Or does it need to be handled differently?
It's a real ethical minefield.
And then you've got Life Squared, the corporation behind bot production.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely not happy about this whole bot liberation thing.
I mean, they're making a fortune off these bots.
Right. They don't want to lose their control over them.
And they're willing to do whatever it takes to maintain that control.
Which leads to some pretty shady stuff.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely not the good guys in this story.
But they're not exactly the bad guys either.
It's more complicated than that.
Right. They're just a corporation trying to protect their interests.
Which is understandable.
But not necessarily ethical.
It's all about power in the end.
Who has it? Who wants it? Who's willing to fight for it?
And what they're willing to sacrifice to get it.
And that brings us to Krauss.
Oh, yeah, he's a fascinating character.
He's driven by this deep sense of injustice.
He wants to see bots liberated.
And he's willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen.
Even if it means resorting to violence.
Which makes him both heroic and terrifying.
He's
He's like a force of nature.
And he's got this really interesting backstory.
Oh, yeah. His connection to Robyn's creation.
That really adds another layer to the whole story.
It's like their fates are intertwined somehow.
And then there's that scene where Robyn witnesses the death of the bot smugglers.
Oh, yeah, that was intense.
It's a real turning point for her.
Yeah, she sees the brutality of the world firsthand.
And the cost of freedom.
It makes her question everything.
And it makes you question everything, too.
Like, is violence ever truly justified?
Even for a good cause.
It's a tough question to answer.
And the book doesn't give you any easy answers.
No, it leaves you wrestling with those questions long after you finish reading.
And that's what makes it such a powerful book.
And it makes you think about what the future holds for Robyn and all the bots, now that they're free.
Right. What does freedom even mean for them?
Exactly. Do they even want to be part of human society?
Or will they create their own separate world?
And what about Krauss?
He was so driven by his need for revenge.
Yeah, he wanted to expose Life Squared and make them pay for what they did.
But he also caused a lot of pain and suffering in the process.
It's like he became the very thing he was fighting against.
Yeah, he lost sight of his own humanity.
And in the end, he paid the ultimate price.
It's a tragic story.
But it's also a story of hope.
Yeah, because even though Krauss is gone, his actions sparked a revolution.
The bots are awake now.
They're aware of their own sentience.
And they're ready to fight for their own future.
And who knows what that future will hold.
It's exciting and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah, because we're entering uncharted territory now.
The world as we know it is changing.
And there's no going back.
But maybe that's a good thing.
Maybe this is the start of something new.
Something better.
A world where humans and bots can coexist peacefully.
A world where technology serves humanity instead of the other way around.
A world where everyone has a chance to thrive.
It's a beautiful dream.
And maybe it's not as impossible as it seems.
Maybe the Liberty Gene is a glimpse of what that future could look like.
Maybe it's a call to action.
A reminder that we all have a role to play in shaping the future.
So what do you say?
Let's keep the conversation going.
Let's keep thinking about these issues.
Let's keep imagining new possibilities.
And let's keep fighting for the future we want to create.
Because the future is not set in stone.
It's up to us to decide what it will be.
And I, for one, am excited to see what we come up with.
Me too. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Liberty Gene.
It's been a real pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed it.
And we'll see you next time for another fascinating discussion.
Until then, keep reading, keep thinking, and keep imagining.